lymphatic drainage technique, we're now going to use the octopus version of the taping. So you can use 5 cm width tape, which is generally the more common used in clinics and in the community. So we use 5 cm for this, but if you're wanting to create a little bit of a wider area to cover, you could actually use two 10 cm together to create exactly the same pattern as well. So I've already pre-cut one length, but we're going to use two for this technique. You'll have one going in each direction, so we just need to measure out so that we've got two lengths roughly the same. I've measured this to about 2/3 of the length of the calf. So for this athlete, they've been injured their calf, and we're assuming that they've got quite significant swelling over the area of the calf strain. So we're going to cut some tentacles in this tape. For this one I've chosen to do 4 so that there's more narrow strips, but you could use just 3 as well. So just make sure that you cut to the end of the tape, 5 cm short of the end of the tape, so you've got the 5 cm left to actually attach to the skin. Now the only difficulty with this tape is if you're noticing that the athlete's going to have to be putting clothing on and off a little bit more, then you might find that the tentacles are a little bit easier to catch on clothing, and it might be a reason for why the tape wants to come off at times. So it might be the reason for choosing the other basketball technique where the actual ends are attached as well. Okay, so to place the tape, we're going to put the first 5 cm at 45-degree angle at the top of the calf. That's just placed onto the surface of the skin, and I'm just going to tear the little backing paper so that all your tentacles are then free to be able to apply to the surface of the skin. Then the second tape is going to be applied in the opposite 45-degree angle, so we'll get that ready as well. Placing that down on the surface of the skin. Again, no stretch for this part. Just tearing the backing paper so that those tentacles are free to manoeuvre and place over the skin where you'd like to cover. Now, then it's just a matter of applying your tentacles one at a time, crisscrossing over the area of injury. So you can peel the backing paper off so that the last 5 cm has no stretch, and that's where you place on the skin, and it gives you the ability to move the tape essentially where you're wanting to cover over the surface of the skin then. So you can create a pattern alternating one strip one direction, one strip the other direction, to ensure that you cover over the length of the calf. So you could place all strips in one direction first and then all in the other, but I've chosen to crisscross over the top with opposite colours. It gives a nice effect as well. Now for this technique, I'm just using very minimal stretch, around about 20% just on the surface of the skin. We're really just wanting to make sure there's some tape contacting over the majority of the surface area where the bruising is. Again, the theory is very similar, or the same really, as the other technique that we did. It's purely just the tape application. So we're trying to get areas of high and low pressure on the surface of the skin to encourage fluid movement below the surface of the skin. There we go. So there we have it. We've created a nice little weave pattern over the calf muscle, and the area of most swelling is covered by the majority of the tape. So you could leave this on for 2 or 3 days, and then what I'd actually do is peel it off, and you'll find that the areas of where the tape is covered have cleared really nicely of bruising, and what you might be able to then do is reapply the tape in a different position to help clear other areas if you're still struggling with some significant swelling.